Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. It is Monday, January 6th, 2020. Let's begin this evening newscast right now. We have a lot of news to get to this Monday evening. First up, TSA, woman caught with loaded handgun at Manchester Airport checkpoint. Traveler says she forgot gun was in bag, officials say. A woman was caught with a loaded handgun Monday morning at a security checkpoint at Manchester-Boston Regional Airport, officials said. Transportation Security Administration officials said a 9mm handgun loaded with 8 bullets was detected in the woman's carry-on bag. The woman was questioned and she said she forgot that she had a loaded gun in her bag, officials said. She was allowed to give the gun to a friend who wasn't traveling for safekeeping until she returned, officials said. TSA officials said passengers can travel with firearms and checked baggage if the weapons are properly packaged and declared. Firearms must be unloaded, packed in a hand-side case, locked and packed separately from ammunition. Officials said anyone who brings a firearm to a security checkpoint could be subject to criminal charges. Even travelers who concealed firearm permits aren't allowed to bring guns onto airplanes and carry-on bags. Man accused of kidnapping woman in Franklin scheduled to appear in court. A New Hampshire man accused of forcing a woman into his van Friday is expected to appear in court Monday. That man is charged with stalking and kidnapping. Police said he forced the woman into his van on North Main Street in Franklin and drove her to a home in Hill, New Hampshire. Police said they later found the man and woman at the home. The woman was not hurt. Concord High School temporarily placed on lockdown. The school was in lockdown for a short period of time Monday after a student was found asleep in a classroom wearing an ammunition belt. Concord High School was temporarily placed on lockdown Monday to investigate a report of a student in possession of ammunition belt at the school. The school resource officer requested assistance from other officers around 1 p.m. after receiving a report from an administrator of a student wearing an ammunition belt. Interim Principal Michael Riordan placed the school on lockdown as a precaution. The lockdown was quickly lifted after the school resource officer and other officers informed dispatch they had the situation under control and called off the additional units. Detective Robert Bolt of the Concord Police Department confirmed to Patch the school was in lockdown and the department was dealing with a student not long after the lockdown was lifted. The student, a juvenile, was taken into custody about an hour later. Franklin Bass, interim superintendent of the Concord School District, said after an investigation of the incident, it was discovered the belt contained only spent shells. The principal followed school protocols and procedures dealing with the student in accordance with the Concord PD MOU, Bass stated in an email. Radar, in a phone call to parents, said the student was found asleep inside of a classroom by a teacher while wearing the ammunition belt around his waist. The teacher alerted Radon to the situation and he placed the school in lockdown. The student was cooperative during the investigation, he added. Observantly, this was an extremely upsetting concern for students and faculty here at the school, Radon stated in a phone call to parents. In retrospect, no one in the school was in danger at any time. Radon said safety of the school community remained our highest priority and thanked everyone for their support. Bolton followed up with Patch stating that due to the involvement of the juvenile as well as the situation being an open investigation, only limited information would be released about the incident. Weld answers questions from students at 2020 College Convention. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
We made USAA insurance for veterans like Martin. When a hailstorm hit, he needed his insurance to get it done right away. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. In the last hour, Republican presidential candidate Bill Weld wrapped up a speech in town hall at the 2020 College Convention in Manchester. The former Massachusetts governor fielded questions from students from around the country on topics ranging from foreign policy to foreign debt and deficit. Weld also blasted President Trump for threatening to target cultural sites in Iran in a potential retaliatory strike. With just a few weeks to go to the primary, Weld says he likes where he's at.
I've got to seriously exceed expectations in New Hampshire, whatever they are. We're probably going to go up on television this week and stay up, so you'll hear more from me.
Weld, who is trailing President Trump by large margins in the polls, says he plans to stay in the race through Super Tuesday in early March.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Former U.S. Senator Hemmery among 100 members of New Hampshire Independents for Biden coalition. Former New Hampshire First Lady Dorothy Patterson also among undeclared Granite Staters voters endorsing former Vice President Joe Biden. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
My laptop's probably the most valuable thing I own. If someone stole it, I don't know what I'd do.
If it's worth owning, it's worth covering. Help protect your things for as low as 39 cents a day with renter's insurance from USAA.
Good morning. WMUR's John DeStaso confirms former Republican U.S. Senator Gordon Humphrey and former New Hampshire First Lady Dorothy Peterson are among 100 independent Granite State voters supporting former Vice President Joe Biden. Independents make up the largest voting bloc in the state at 42% of the registered voters in the state. Republicans make up 29.5%, and Democrats are at 28%. And you can read more on this story in DeStaso's primary source section of WMUR.com.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Julian Castro endorses Elizabeth Warren for president. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Monday evening. And here's a look at that U.S. stock market for all of you for this Monday evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green, went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green, went up. S&P 500 closed in the green, went up. Gold closed in the red, went down. Oil closed in the red, went down. U.S. 10-year closed flat. Euro/USD closed in the green, went up. And VIX closed in the red, went down. Dow recovers from 200 points drop to finish higher as investors shake off geopolitical concerns. Stocks rose on Monday, recovering losses from earlier in the session as oil dipped despite rising geopolitical worries following last week's U.S. killing of Iran's top general. Celebrities pledge financial aid to battle Australia fires. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Now I want to turn back to Ginger, who is in Australia covering the wildfires for us. Ginger, fill us in.
Well, you know, Lara, I wanted to fill everybody in because you see images like this behind me, and the question is, how do we help? And if you were following social media, you saw a lot of celebrities doing it. Keith Urban and, of course, Nicole Kidman pledging $500,000 for the fire relief efforts. Pink also doing the same. She was devastated by what she was seeing. That's what she said in a tweet. Now, everybody wants to know, well, where can I help? You can donate money to the Australian Red Cross. You can also, for the animals, go to WIRES, W-I-R-E-S. That is a wildlife conservation and a fund that helps to rehab. So you can go check both of those out.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the...
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night and bye, everyone.